Hello there. This is David from David Books and Comics, and today I'd like to show some of my Whitman Big Little Books, BLBs as their acronym is known, some of the hardcover books that they did in the series of interests that I collected over the years. So the three books you see here are The Lone Ranger and the Black Shirt Highwayman. And this is Whitman book number 1450. This is Lone Ranger and the Red Renegades, 1489. And the Lone Ranger follows through 1468. I believe Whitman did 6 of the Lone Ranger Big Little Books. All of the stories, both the Lone Ranger and another series that he did was The Green Hornet, were all written by Francis Hamilton Stryker. Now, Fran Stryker was instrumental in creating both the Lone Ranger and the Green Hornet. He and George W. Trendle and James Jewell, the series director for the radio shows from the 1930s, were really the idea people behind the creation of the Lone Ranger and the Green Hornet. So I'll show you the ones I've collected. So this is the Black Shirt Highwayman, and we can flip through this one since it doesn't have a bag. These are not that expensive if you know where to find them. It features artwork, which is very competently done, actually. And there you see by Fran Stryker. Now, Burt Whitman himself was a comic book artist, and he was the one who drew the first comic books of the Green Hornet. And the publishing of the BLBs and the hardcovers were all his publishing house, as far as I know. So I'll go through the BLBs that I have, and I'll show you those. So this is The Green Hornet Strikes, and this looks to be the cover done by Burt Whitman himself. That's his style of artwork. And this is a reading copy that I have. The illustrations are Robert R. Weissman. And you can see the style is very different. The supporting characters are Mike Axford. That's the 1930s version of Mike Axford. And Kato, described in the initial books as Japanese, but subsequent became Korean, largely because of the Second World War. So that's that one. And this is The Green Hornet Returns. Again, Whitman did the cover there. And I can show you the interior, because I have a reading copy. And the artwork here is Burt Whitman. That's his style of work. There's Britt Reed, the alter ego of the Green Hornet. And this one is one of these flip-through books where you see the adventure taking place in the corner there. See him move, just flip the pages. So there you go. Before there was such a thing as videos, there were these Whitman flip-through books. So that's that one. And then the next one in the series, the third one and the last one in the Green Hornet series, is this one. The Green Hornet Cracks Down. And it's also a flip-through book. The art is by Vallely, who was a very prolific artist for children's books, actually. And you can see in the corners, if I flip through it, you'll see the action taking place. So that's The Green Hornet Cracks Down. And I also have a Phantom. This is The Phantom and the Girl Mystery. And the interior art is by Ray Moore. And it features some of the other BLBs in the series. And here is Son of Tarzan, as by Edgar Rice Burroughs. And see, they're fairly inexpensive, but I purchased it. The condition, the book is completely intact. It's just the condition. It's very fragile. So that's The Son of Tarzan, as by Edgar Rice Burroughs. And here's the Flash Gordon. And the interior art for this one is none other than Alex Raymond. This is in the ice world of Mongo. And again, it has one of these flip-through type adventure things. And Whitman BLB published their own series. This is one of two in a series called The Desert Eagle and the Hidden Fortress. And it features this masked character with this Mexican sombrero riding and fighting against these bad guys in the Old West. And I also have an unusual, very fragile book. This is from Fawcett Publications, and this is Bullet Man and Bullet Girl in a dime action book. And they're fighting up against Mr. Murder. So that's that one. And I'll show you some of the other, one of the other BLBs that I have. Much later, the BLB came out in these smaller formats. This is none other than Space Ghost from the cartoon of 1966. And I also have, perhaps not so easy to find this day and age because you never see them anymore. I also have the Star Wars BLB that was published by this company. It's called Chronicle Books. So that's the first Star Wars in BLB format. So you can flip through it and you can see the cover art. See if it shows. Yeah. Adapted by John Whitman, illustrated Brandon McKinney. So there you go. That's what it is. Nicely illustrated, kind of two-color format. There's that one. They're great readers for anybody who would like, when you're teaching children how to read. They're great readers. So there you go. That's Star Wars. And I have one other in the Star Wars group, and this is Star Wars Episode 1, Phantom Menace. The whole series, up until this one, I believe, came out in these small format BLBs. So, still in the style of the old Whitmans, like Chronicle Books. So that's the BLBs that I'm going to show. I have other ones, but they're in very poor condition. So these are the hardcover books. These are two. I don't have the dust jackets, obviously. And so this is Red Rider with actual artwork by Fred Harmon, who was the creator of the character Red Rider. And the story is by S.S. Stevens. And they all feature heavy on text, and they all feature the artist's own drawings. So this is Red Rider and the Secret of Wolf Canyon by Fred Harmon. And this is Joyce of Secret Squadron. This is a Captain Midnight adventure, as it says here. Written by R.R. Winterbotham. Irwin L. Darwin is the artist. And that's that one. There's Captain Midnight. So that's that. And there's Blue Streak. Blue Streak is one of the few superhero characters that appear in these Whitman hardcovers. This is 2313. Art Elder is the, or Francis Kern is the writer. Art Elder is the writer. Francis Kern, the artist. Art Elder, the writer. And yeah, so it's a standard, very overly simplistic, actually. Simplistic adventure story, heavily on plot, less on character. These stories tend to feature lots of character development, usually in the villains, but very little in the heroes. So this is The Son of the Phantom, and this novel was written by Lee Falk, or a story by Dale Robertson, as by from the actual newspaper strip by Lee Falk. The artwork looks to be the work of Ray Moore. This is the backstory of the Phantom. It's the exact same story as this one that was published by Avon. So that's that one. And this is some of the Dust Jackets ones that I have. This is Scarlet, Invisible Scarlet O'Neill. And the creator of this series and this character was an artist named Russ Stam. You can just, that's him there, Russell Stam. And Russell Stam was a ghostwriter, as it says here. He served successfully as assistant to Stanley Link, Sidney Smith, and Chester Gould. He was a ghost artist, I should say, for the Dick Tracy comic strip. And he created this character, the superpowered, invisible Scarlet O'Neill. This is very clean. A lot of wear on the corners, but otherwise very tight, clean copy of this. This is Whitman book number 2382, Invisible Scarlet O'Neill. And I also have this book, April Kane and the Dragon Lady. It's a Terry and the Pirates adventure. And this is Milton Caniff creation. And it features artwork in definitely the Milton Caniff style, if not done by Milton Caniff himself. This looks like his work. So that's that one, April Kane and the Dragon Lady. And these are the Dick Tracys. And this one looks like the actual work of Chester Gould. And this one is Dick Tracy meets the Nightcrawler. And that's by Chester Gould. And the artwork looks to be his. Very faithful to the type of story that he wrote. And it wouldn't surprise me if Gould wrote it himself and it was not ghostwritten, because it's very close to his style. And of course, you go to the end and you see where the villain eventually meets his gruesome end. See if it shows. Oh, well, it's described in the story. So that's Dick Tracy meets the Nightcrawler. This is the first one in the series of the Dick Tracy books. This is 2381, Ace Detective. And it numbers the illustrations and what tells you what page they're on. So that's that one. And this is a later, I should say, Whitman edition of The Green Hornet, The Case of the Disappearing Doctor. And it's pretty much faithful to the TV series. This is a story about a doctor who gets kidnapped, and the Green Hornet have to he's a kind of scientist of some kind, and the Green Hornet has to rescue him with the help of Cato, of course. This one was written by Brandon Keith, illustrated by this fellow, Larry Pellini. There you go, 1966. That's the year that the Green Hornet TV series came out. So that's that one. And I wanted to show you, this one is a Grosset and Dunlap, but it's done in a similar format. Beautiful artwork, actually, by Milton Caniff. Beautiful copy, actually. And this is a Steve Canyon adventure. Well-written stories, by the way. And featuring the Caniff type art. Definitely his work. Beautiful white pages, nice copy. So that's Operation Snowflower by Milton Caniff. And there we go. So that's harking back to yesteryear, and a look at my collection of some of the Whitman books that I have. So I hope you enjoyed this video on the BLBs with the Green Hornet and the Lone Ranger, and the other BLBs that I presented. And if you did, please remember to give me a like. And again, thank you all for subscribing, and which invites me to show more of my some of my more vintage, both paperbacks and hardcover books that I have. All right, so thanks again, and feel free to comment if you have anything to add, or if you want to know more about any details that I may have left out, or if you want to know more that I could add to the story of my collection. Okay, thanks. Bye.